Welcome to Gen Z Hoops, the Gen Z basketball, coaching, and sports business show. On this podcast, you'll learn from professional players, coaches, and executives from all over the world and see the court in a brand new way. And now, joining you courtside, your Gen Z host, John Hartophilus.
Jonathan, my man, what's going on?
You know, just another day, just got off of work. The Warriors playing the Hornets tonight. So, you know, there's a lot going on over there. The G League, they had their last preseason game today, too, at Chase Center. So it was a pretty busy day for me.
It's got to be exciting, man. Things are starting up, especially with that Warriors Hornets game. I know it's on national TV. I mean, those are two exciting teams. You're talking about Steph, LaMelo. I mean, like that's a lot of fast-paced offense stuff. So got to be just fun, right? Being in that atmosphere, right?
Yes, sir.
Definitely awesome. So, and there's a lot to talk about. I mean, you've been in the news a lot lately for the G League trial you had, but we're definitely going to talk about that later on. But I want to talk about like Jonathan, right? I want to talk about you and your backstory and how you got to where you are, because that's what's most interesting to me. Everyone, right, I'm sure is going crazy about this recent story, but your stories I think is awesome, and I want to get into that a little bit. So I'm curious, just I'll leave it kind of open ended. But where did maybe you fall in love with basketball? Was it when you were really young playing? Did you get a little bit older? Like where did that maybe happen for you where you realized you love this game?
I played Pee Wee basketball when I was like 5-6 years old, so very long time ago. I'm 26 now. As I got older, I played various different sports like football, soccer, racquetball, martial arts, swimming. I did various things, but then once I graduated high school and I went to college, I kind of wanted to get back to it just because I love the energy and the feel of playing basketball. You know, I always love team sports where it's not all on one person, but you know, you win as a collective and you do things as a collective. So that's what made me really get back into it.
No, that's awesome. So where did maybe you realize that it's something you wanted to do long term? Right? Everyone loves playing as a kid and on the playground. But when did it become something like, you know what, I want to be around this stuff all the time. I want to play at a high level. I want to really be around this thing.
Based off, always playing the sport outside, like little black tops and little college tournaments and things of that nature. I just kind of felt like, I can kind of take it somewhere, also. And at the same time, I'm also doing a martial arts thing, trying to be a pro fighter at the same time. So I'm trying to go two different paths at the same time, trying to figure out which one's going to go, which one isn't, or like which one isn't going to do too well. So I'm kind of just in that little world right now where I'm doing two different sports, trying to figure out which one is going to, pop for me. But it seems like basketball is kind of moving a little bit more just because of that experience. Even though I didn't make the team, but I can still get another chance to do it next year. So right now I've just been doing a whole bunch of practicing and a whole bunch of, getting my body well and taking care of myself, eating the right food to make sure I'm good to go for the next opportunity.
Love that mindset, and that's what's going to keep you ready. And if it didn't work out this time, it'll work out the next if you keep on working at it, which is awesome. Just the fact that right, you're there on the footsteps of it is so cool. But you mentioned martial arts, and I have to ask, like, where did you maybe find an interest in that to where you're doing both those sports and you kind of picked up that martial art fighting? Because I'm sure right, a lot of those skills and that work ethic and that aggressiveness must transfer over to basketball court.
Well, one thing, I'm a big anime fan, so I was just like, like watching shows like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, just like, watching those guys do their thing on the show. I'm just like, what? I want to be a fighter just like them. So, I finally, like 8 years ago, I signed up to do like some martial arts. Back when my college had the martial arts program, and I joined in through there. I did taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, and now I'm currently doing kenpo and kickboxing. So I just kind of something, in a sense to kind of give me a little, physical activity to stay in good shape while also playing basketball at the same time. So it was kind of like I was just busy doing both. So it seemed like my social life was kind of like bad because I was always training, doing either one or two of the sports. It was ridiculous.
Well, that's kind of the sacrifice you have to make sometimes is going all in, and other people maybe like that's all they do is to have that social life and go out and stuff. But you're focused and you're honed on these goals that you have, and that's incredible. You've also done some other things, and I'm sure that kind of comes into the whole sacrifice part of it in terms of like taking up these jobs or doing certain things. Like I noticed you have this skill of you do a lot of freelance videography, photography. Like what is that like for you, and is that something you're really passionate about too?
Yeah, I was passionate about it because, I was really big on movies because when I was younger, I was really big on trying to be an actor and being involved in that, film industry. And I've been doing that for about a good 9-10 years, right before I finally decided maybe I want to go back to sports. And so it was just like, it's one of them things where it was like, I kind of feel like it was like a growing phase. Like at one part of my life, I wanted to do one thing. And as I got older, I realized, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's when I really want to focus more on the sport level of basketball and martial arts, just trying to get back into the fitness aspects of life. And you kind of put the camera down and getting off Photoshop, spending 8-10 hours editing videos all day. So that was kind of my process with that.
I love them. That's something, right? That's kind of the same way I was. I was in the eighth, not even in high school, in middle school, editing videos of my favorite basketball players and putting them all together. And I was always the kid, maybe wasn't the most talented kid on the team, but I was the one making the team mixtape. So the coaches liked me, the parents liked me, and it all kind of, now I'm coaching. And that's kind of how it all happened.
Nice.
Always like being in the video room and always doing that stuff. So I love how you did that too. From 2009, 2018, like how have you evolved in this video world, in this movie making world, from when you first started, it was like, okay, I just like movies, but now it's like, you know what, I'm actually good at this stuff.
I think it was more on a sense like, I guess when I actually went out and tried to do the respective sports, I was just realizing I can really do something. I'm really physical enough. I got the IQ for it, and I watched my progress over time. I'm just like, man, I can actually, do something with this. So it was more like, what do I still want to do filming and all this stuff? And I realized, how hard it is to find gigs in the film world, especially if you don't have the right connections. So I tried to find something that was a lot more, that can be more of a success to me instead of necessarily like a hardship. So that's what made me kind of make that switch to finally actually be like, you know what, I can actually do this sport. Let me go out and put all this practice into it. I'm still young. I got time. I'm not in my 40s or 50s. So, I have the respective time to get it done.
I love it, right? Taking advantage of being young. And that's a big part of this show, is being young and ambitious and taking advantage of opportunities you might not have in a few years, right? This is the time to act on them. And you're doing just that, which is super, super cool. So, right. And this is maybe where the good stuff comes in, right? What you're doing now, martial arts is a big part of that, but is security something that you always had an itch to, like, you know what, I'm going to start to do that? Or is that something that just came around because it was the Warriors? Like, what made you want to take that job?
Well, personally, I took that job as a stepping stone. It was just my way to put my foot in the door. It wasn't like, yeah, I want to be a security guard forever for these guys. No, just for them to get a sense of who I am and for me to navigate throughout the company. So that's all what security was for me. But, I still enjoy it. I'm not going to say like, oh, I hate doing it, because, I come across Steph and those guys all the time. I see them literally every day. So it's good to come across, guys of, different aspects and, get to learn from them and talk to them every day and just get good advice and, handshakes, and the whole nine. So now at this moment, I'm just like, well, now that I got this chance to get that tryout, now I'm going to go further with it, whether it be either with basketball or some other aspect of the company, to try to move around and kind of, get myself out of the security situation.
And I can't wait to talk about that try, because that's going to be a lot of fun. But you mentioned, right, like number one, obviously just as a fan perspective, like it's fun seeing the players, but obviously, right, it's your job to protect them and do all that. At the same time, though, right, it's a big part of it, I'm sure, is being positive, right, and being, a pleasure to be around. When it comes, it's funny, a lot of the articles about you in the G League tryout all say beloved, like it's always a word like beloved Warrior security guard. So what is it about you, right? Why are you always so positive to put everyone in a good mood around you, make everyone really, to be so likable? How do you do that?
It was a quote that I learned from Biggie Smalls, he died a long time ago, that he said, if you want to change the world, you got to change yourself. I want to represent myself as what I want to see in other people. So always being positive, smiling at everyone, making sure everyone's good, never thinking, you're better than somebody, but just always, staying level-headed with the person you are, who you're interacting with. And also just always, because, like it's people who come from different aspects of the world, whether they're having a bad day or something happening at home, a death in their family, whatever the case may be, sometimes just a cheerful person, just to be around, just tell hey, you got this. I'm really glad to see you. Hope you have a great day at work. You're gonna have a beautiful day. That makes people's day. And I think me personally, I would like that if I had that every time I went to work. Someone told me, oh, I'm really glad to see you. I hope you have a great day. Give hugs and handshakes, whatever the case may be, and it just make you feel better about makes your day go a lot better, just because you had that positive start of your day.
I love that, right? And that's a great mentality to have just in life. It's not about basketball. It's not about being a security guard. It's about being a human being. Right, you're doing that the right way. And it's awesome thinking about how you're making sure to take those steps in your life. But right, and thinking about, now we're getting to what I'm sure a lot of people clicking this video for is actually, right, this tryout story. So, right, you have this great personality. Everyone knows you, likes you, loves you in the organization. Where does this even start from? Did you maybe ask someone first, or did someone from the team approach you? Did you ever show people you could hoop? How did that all happen?
Well, it was kind of like when a lot of the coaches used to come in, I started telling them, every time they come, in and out of the, in and out the entrance, I always be like, oh man, y'all got to get me down now. I'll guard this person, I'll do this and I'll do that. And I used to say that all the time. They be like, yeah, whatever. And all of a sudden, Ryan Atkinson, he was the general manager of the G League at the time. He was like, hey man, you know how to play basketball? I said, I know how to do a little something. Then he was like, he said something in the grounds of, well, you know, I can get you down there. We can see what you got. I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking he playing the whole time. I'm thinking he just saying it just to be saying it. So, you know, he went his way. You know, I went my way. You know, I didn't think much of it. And then once it got something happened and they got back to me, like kind of like 2 weeks prior to the trial, it was like, yeah, man, let me get your information. We're gonna put you on the list for the trial. And I'm over here shocked, like, oh man, like, y'all was serious about it. I'm like, okay, so I made sure I went in, you know, got my workouts in, try to get as many shots in through that short span of time to try to, you know, get as ready as possible. And then all of a sudden, you know, the day came. And it, you know, it was super exciting. Like I enjoyed it. You know, I got my jersey. I was just so excited, even though I was kind of like maybe the smallest dude in there because everyone else was like 6'3" and up. So I'm just like, you know, and I kind of feel like, you know, what short people go through when they're always around people taller than them. You know, I felt like the short man in there. So it was a great experience. Like it was worth it.
Yeah, that is so cool thinking about that first year. You're in your tryouts, like you're there, right? You're living that dream of trying to chase your dream. What was the trial? If walk us through how the trial was like. I mean, maybe your first impression walking in, because obviously, right, everyone may have been bigger than you, but there's so many stories. I mean, you might see the footage online of like all, you know, these huge G League trials. There's so many guys in the gym. Everyone's fighting for their spots. Like, what was the vibe that you got the moment you got in? Like super high energy, but also so many people. Like the competition's fierce. Like, what did you maybe see when you walked in?
I just seen people, they were just focused, you know, they was in there, they was ready, they was hungry just like I was. And I you know, the way how we played, the way how the workouts went, you know, everything was just intense, full force, full go. And I can kind of admit I wasn't really ready for the workouts like that just because the level, the speed level was what I'm not accustomed to. So I had to adjust as the workout went on. So I felt like I was kind of slow because I'm not necessarily used to, you know, playing at a pace on a pro level. Like that was my first time being in a pro setting, working out wise. So it was just something I had to learn how to adjust. But it was towards the end, I kind of caught up to it. But I felt like if I can do that a lot more on the outside time as the season going, next time I do the trial, I'll probably be where I need to be.
So cool thinking about that. And what are you maybe doing now? I mean, right, you had only 2 weeks to prepare for this one, but you know that you have that trial next year now. What's this next year looking like for you to prepare to make sure that you take advantage of the opportunity next year too?
Well, obviously, you know, build my jump shots, you know, pick up my handles a little bit, learn how to do things quicker, you know, have my IQ jump a little bit, make sure that obviously, you know, I take care of my body, you know, go to physical therapy, go to the chiropractor, do what I need to do to make sure my body is in the best shape possible. You know, also, you know, going to the course and finding like maybe an inside gym court, because it was one thing that kind of threw me off was that, you know, like the NBA court is a lot wider than the ones that you play outside, you know, on a blacktop. So as I'm shooting, you got to, you know, shoot with an extra strength to it, with some more power to it. And it was like, my forearm was hurting because I'm not used to shooting at such length. So it's just like something I got to try to adjust over this, you know, year time by next summer, so I can make sure when I'm in there, I'm not going 5 from 20 from the 3-point line.
Whole different game thing about the NBA level, whether it's the 3-point line, whether it's obviously the speed, so much is like ramped up from what maybe we're all used to as, you know, on the blacktop and stuff like that, but still super cool at that opportunity. And there's so many G League success stories in those tryouts. There's guys like DeJounte Murray, right, who paid the whatever what it is, like $100 for his tryout. Now he's, I mean, this year getting buckets, man. Like you guys like that really showing out. It'd be incredible to see you on that stage one day, hopefully. I mean, I love the G League. I've been following it like crazy now with this show. I'm able to have all these amazing guests. But it's so cool thinking about how someone can get that opportunity, someone can have positivity. Like I've never had a security guard on the show, but it's awesome, right? Meeting someone that is able to live that life and tell that story, and now, right, live their dream of playing for pro basketball through that same opportunity. That is incredible. So I really want to thank you for sharing that on the show, because it makes me excited to like be around basketball, to know that anyone that works, because like security guards are maybe a position that people don't really think about all the time, but you're taking advantage of that opportunity and living that dream, man. I mean, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing that. This was so cool.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thanks for listening to Gen Z Hoops. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all major social media platforms at Gen Z Hoops. You can tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and every other podcast platform on the planet. Get ready for the next episode.